really have to apologize.
Oh, you just went
I
live.
have to very much apologize.
Oh, no worries.
Okay, so all right. Thank you, Melissa, for letting me know. Um, okay, guys, I'm sorry, I have to say this.
We were
I
not
need
live.
to apologize. I need to apologize to the people who normally come because when Prakash and Chai came on before the show, we had an echo going on and it stressed me out. And we were trying to troubleshoot it. And as a result, I forgot to press go live.
Oh my God.
So we've been talking to ourselves.
The last 20 minutes.
Yes, the last 20 minutes. And you know what's really, really funny is there are always at least a few people, 6, 10 people that are waiting. And I was like, this is the strangest thing because you guys are so popular. Everybody wants to learn from you and you've accomplished so much. And I'm like, what's going on in my head? In my head, I'm like, what's going on? It wasn't until Melissa says, what did Melissa say? She says, nothing is showing up, says waiting for Effie. I'm like, what? And I look and I was like, oh my God.
What the FE?
Yeah, what the Effie? How the effing could I do that? I am so, so, so sorry. My apologies to the
Andrew,
audience and my sincere apologies to you guys because, bottom line is that I really enjoyed what you said, but they missed it.
Hey, that makes one more great story, right? We kept talking to ourselves for 20 minutes, never
yeah,
went live.
Yeah, yeah, but you know what, guys? I have to say it's unfortunate because in the first 20 minutes we were talking about their beginnings, like when they arrived and what sort of things that they were doing. And I'm sorry, I've almost been peeing my pants laughing. It's been really funny. It's been really funny to hear some of the things that are cultural, others that are just everybody goes through this stuff, but it's hysterical that you missed it. I'm so all right, my bad. That won't happen again. Anyhow, I am so sorry. So let's pick up. We were talking about, um, you know, how they met and what was going on. And Chai, if you don't mind, please repeat your story about
okay.
using your, um, you know, poker money. What
Yes. Yeah.
explain that, and we'll just get
I
going.
love
And
to tell
please
everybody,
forgive
like,
me.
I love the poker story because it just, like, now I can't think about thinking like that, thinking that small. Okay. I'll repeat the story here in a second, but the whole idea of telling that story is when you're starting out, it's very natural to be like naive. It's very natural to think small because you have not seen the big. Okay. So when I mean, Prakash and I started out, like, we had this other business that we ended up shutting down for like a lot of reasons that would have turned us into a big scam, which nobody wants, right? So then we started looking into real estate. And the first thing you do, and very important, like, I tell this story as a funny story, that we looked at like buying properties on the MLS that would negative cash flow like $50, and we were so thrilled about that because the background that we come from in India, like, properties that are $150,000 worth, rent, not even cash flow, rent for less than $300. Okay, so for us, negative $50 was great. Okay, and we thought something can be done about that until I went and met one of my family friends at this event. It was a baby shower, and she tells me, no, no, you got to go to Lifestyles Unlimited, which is one another syndication group here in Houston, where, like, we saw how the burst strategy is done, and it opened up our eyes to this huge world of real estate where the real estate can be purchased discounted. And that one thing, like, brought us here. So
So discounted meaning wholesale,
wholesale, yes. So
and you didn't realize that before.
there are a lot of people that are reaching out to property owners and finding a distress in their life or distressed property, and then getting it under contract for a lot lower than the market value. And then I was like, hey, maybe I can do that, right? So Prakash was a realtor. He had a license at that time, so I brought this idea to us, and we were like, okay, you do the MLS scraping, and I will do other strategy. I'll follow other strategies. So I sent like some mailers out. Okay, and before I sent the mailers, this was my thought process. I used to go play poker. Like I was like super like, I used to be extremely excited about poker, like playing poker I thought I can make it in poker, literally. When I didn't even win one single time. I was that bad. I used to like burn $300 every month, and I used to come home like a loser and just, get on with my life. And I used to think to myself, only if there was a business or a property that can bring me $300 a month, that will take care of my poker dreams. Literally. Okay. So I was like, damn it, let's go and take this $300. Let's sacrifice poker for this month and send out some mailers. Like Moon told me, Moon is a guy from Houston. He like taught me ropes of real estate, or rather wholesaling. So I took $300, sent 300 letters, and sure enough, I got like 5 or 7 phone calls, and then I got this property under contract from this lady, amazing lady. Her name is Amanda. I'm still in touch with her. She's trying to bring me leads. It was, I think, her parents' property, and she couldn't handle it. But I got it under contract for 125 when it was worth like 200 or something.
Wow.
I didn't have to put any money in it. And then by the time I sold 3 years later, I ended up netting like 90 grand on it. And I knew I was going to make that much.
Okay, so you won at poker finally.
Yeah, I did.
That's hysterical.
uh,
Wow. You must have been floored to be able to get a contract for 125, knowing that the ARV was going to be substantially more.
Oh, yeah. And so that property just built enough courage for me to send 500 letters when I should have sent like 5,000, if not 50,000 letters.
Wow.
So I sent 500 letters, and boom, like another contract. I got that property for like $65,000. I still have it in my portfolio. That's worth almost 180. And I was like, what is this thing? Like, this is insane. Like,
talk about scams. You were probably wondering, is this legal?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, and then I called Prakash and like, hey, we got to keep this to ourselves. Okay. We can't.
And this is when we didn't have so much education on social media.
Yeah.
Right.
Like nobody was talking about real estate that much on Facebook. Nobody had, like, people didn't use Facebook so much back then.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. Don't tell anybody.
So Prakash was scraping on the MLS. He found this guy like at 155. And go ahead if you want to.
Yeah, that was my first flip that I did. Nobody was, that's when I've learned, like, you have to look at days on the market. That property was listed over 3-4 months. Realtor was not hard to get hold of. Listed for 155. I was like, hey, I was scared. Would you take 130? He's like, send me an offer. And then I went to go see the house, and I was scared.
Why?
Was really in a bad shape.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, then I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this. He's like, make me an offer. I'm like, would you take 90? And he said yes.
Whoa.
And then we went under contract. I closed it. And then I found, folks, like bunch of handymen. I didn't even know where to find people to fix what. I had those people.
One of my tenants actually fixed his house.
Did a rehab.
Oh, that's so funny.
The fans looked different. It was a crazy story. I listed it on the market. I was everything was going wrong in that house. People were, breaking in to sleep at night.
Oh dear.
And that's the time when Houston got cold. The utility bills were $500-$600. I wanted to get rid of it.
Mhm.
I fixed it, listed on the market for like 165 ish. I spent like
Mhm.
maybe $10,000 on it.
Mhm.
And then I was able to sell it for, like, I had paranoia all around, like for those 2-3 months. Got a good buyer, closed it. I think I netted after everything around $35,000.
Wow.
And it was crazy. It was good experience.
Did you feel like you were getting away with something, or did it make sense to you? Because when you go to a new country, a lot of times you think, that maybe I'm cheating somehow. When I was teaching ESL, one of the things I noticed that I thought was really, really funny is that when we went to restaurants, the Koreans and the Japanese couldn't believe they could get unlimited pop, for free.
It,
So they would go up and they would fill their cups and they would drink them, and before long their bellies were out there and they were like, we have to do this. It's free. and
That's how
and
they
I'd
do
be
it.
going, no, you don't have to. You can just take what you want. It was funny. They
it
thought they were getting away with something.
it did feel like that, especially when me and Chai, we started wholesaling, right? We started doing our marketing, and we used to, like, we never thought of making 40, 50, $60,000
Assignment.
spreads on the properties. And we used to, like,
Wonder.
argue amongst like, there was one example I would give. The seller wanted $90,000. This was in the Beaverdale property, Chai, and it
Yeah.
was worth 170, 180.
Like as it is.
As
Like
it is. And we were like, that guy asked 90, we gave him 90. There was a little bit of negotiation. Then we were like,
to see us successful. Like that's it. That's all. Like he told us, I just want convenience and I want to see you guys successful. And I mean,
Nice.
we,
Nice.
we were like,
yeah,
should we make that kind of money? Like, should we give him more? It
yeah.
was
That's hysterical.
I think we paid for his like travel and like we just gave him like showed him a lot of appreciation for.
he moved to Denver. He used to grow marijuana plants in his house. Very nice guy. Even after he left, there were plants going in the front yard.
Yeah.
That's
It was-
funny. That's
So,
funny.
so Prakash skipped on one funny story before that. So before we got to that level and started marketing, so Prakash and I were like finding good success, and we were like, hey, maybe we should like send a bunch of letters. And that was not until like the first story I told you, like $300 happened in 2015. Okay. I think Prakash flipped in like 2016.
around that time.
We didn't do anything with about this until 2018 March. That's
Wow.
when we like gathered enough courage to send 4,000 letters. And guess what?
That's a lot of letters.
Yeah, guess what? Like we didn't get one, like we got like 2 phone calls, no leads, nothing.
Nothing.
Because by that time, Facebook groups were there, the marketing was very saturated. So we were like, oh man, something's wrong. Like we got to figure something out. So we went and talked to Moon, who got us into this. And Moon said, oh, I think like currently a lot of people are doing cold calling. And we are like, what is cold calling? I mean, we were literally that naive. We had no clue what cold calling meant. And he's like, I mean, you just hire some people and give them like a Skype phone number, give them some leads, and they'll call you. They'll call for you. I was like, oh, okay, that's how it's done. Okay, let's do it. So we went on, like he told us to go on Upwork. We found
Okay.
this guy in Bangladesh. Okay.
Oh, the VA was in Bangladesh.
Bangladesh. We are still in touch with him.
Oh,
And
that's
he
so
said,
funny.
I've done this a lot. I mean, he was very like confident about all this, and we are like, I guess he knows more than us. So let's go with it.
Let's hire. It was $2 an hour.
$2.
Wow, $2 an hour.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was crazy.
Literally, like we gave him a list. Okay. And I'm not talking about like numbers or statistics or anything here. Okay. Literally, number one phone call. Like he picks up the phone, number one phone call. It hit us like it hit it out of the park like I've never seen before.
Wow.
Put this property under contract and sold it to someone we knew at that time was into real estate for $35,000 assignment. Number one phone.
Number one lead. We still have that Excel file.
Yeah, we still have it.
That's amazing.
And we were like, no shit, like mailers are not working. Like everybody's doing this. Okay.
Right.
And
It's
then
so funny though, isn't it? How from one country to another, when they say coming to America and the American way, and you're like, holy crap, look what they're doing here. And, you just don't know until you know. And it
Yeah.
seems amazing. Like, is this real? So I can feel for you. It must have been quite funny for you guys to actually look at that. Was it a check you got? And
yeah, like a wire or check, something.
yeah, and to say we really made this in just so much time.
And we were like, I mean, we just write a contract and sell the contract and just make 35 grand, just like that. I mean, our salaries were less than 100 grand at that time, I guess.
Right. Well, at that time now, were you working with your engineering jobs still?
Yeah, we were doing this like part-time. It was more of an exercise to just build a portfolio. Okay.
For us.
It still
To see
is.
what you can do.
Yeah. No, we just wanted to grow our real estate portfolio because I always believed in this like long-term vision that was taught by lifestyles when I first joined, that no matter what you do, if you can hold real estate long enough, it's going to pay off in ways you can't even imagine. Okay?
That's very true. Very
And
true.
like tax, I mean, it's a end-to-end game. It's not an active business. After a while, you can retire from it.
Yep.
And it will still pay you.
Yep.
I mean, this year we got like 300,000 in depreciation benefits.
Oh, how nice.
We didn't even think of. Like we thought we were going to pay 100 grand in taxes. Come to find out, we are getting 35 grand in return. So
that's nice. That's nice.
So
yeah. And you know what? In some ways, it's easy enough for a kid to do. Because when I was when I came to Canada, my mom never learned to speak English. So I was the one that got to, go around with her and look at all these houses because she wanted to buy some houses. And I was not happy at all at the beginning. But before long, I really learned to love looking at buildings. And we used to talk about each property we saw. And eventually we purchased 3 in 1 year. We had 1 already. They purchased 3. She wanted me to negotiate the price of a house. And she said, not 1 penny more than 25,000. And I said, okay, but you can't say 1 word, because they didn't like it if we spoke Greek. They thought we were saying something. No. So my mom stood there while I negotiated this place. And when you said Indians like to get a good deal, we're so Greeks. So I decided, and the people that were selling it to us were, white Anglo-Saxon, right? They were English. And I thought they would negotiate. So I started at 24,500 instead of 25, because my mom said, don't go over that. And they were like, why would you say that? And I just gave them every fact, because we had seen all the properties. And I said, well, this property over here, which is only 1 block away, it has an extra fireplace and their kitchen's newer and this and that. I talked about all of them. And after about 15 minutes, they were like, oh my God, okay, give it to her. And my mom didn't understand what that meant. She was worried that I blew it. And I was like, oh, I grabbed the realtor's hand. I said, we have to shake on it, Well, over time, we took that house and we hacked it into a triplex. But, that house sold a couple of years ago for $2.3 million.
Wow.
Oh my God.
And it actually was a teardown.
Wow.
Because in their later years, they became slumlords. And in the meantime, we collected rent.
Oh, yeah.
So, and they had tax write-offs. A child could see this is where we need to go. So it is amazing to see what happens in the long run and how the benefits come.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So Andrew says 2.3 million. Yep. And, for, I guess about, let me see, 25, for about $125,000 for all 5 properties, that estate had been valued at over $20 million before, right at the very top, and then it tanked down because 3 of them were in a row, and my brother thought we should be able to get more money because they were next to each other. So it was interesting to see. Yep, that's what happens. So you want to, things go up, things go down, but they don't go down to what you bought them for.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Right.
unless it was 2008.
Then it's labor and material is never getting cheaper, right? Even if
Right.
goes down for like few years, it always comes back.
Yep. Yep. And Andrew's saying, in a Lifestyles Unlimited. Oh, he's a Lifestyles Unlimited member.
Well, yeah,
Okay, they have good information. So does that group still exists, huh?
oh yeah.
I had not heard of it.
We are multi-country, I mean, just worldwide group where a lot of people come and invest in multifamily with them.
Okay.
So they have a program for you to become a lead investor as a GP, general partner, and run your own deals.
Cool.
For a group of general partners and then raise money from within the lifestyles. They have pretty strict rules. Whatever you do, you have to do within the group, not outside. So it's just some red tape you have to go through.
Got it. Got it. So then bring us forward because, you were building your own portfolios. And at that time, were you a business? Like, are you partners now? You're full partners, right?
So 2018 March is when we sent out these 4,000 letters and didn't get a lot of hits on it. So at that time, I think Harvey had just happened and we were still catching like the tail end of it. And someone showed us how to send a bulk mailers using USPS. So for anybody here who doesn't know, you can go to USPS, check, get a guideline on their formatting, and you need to have certain type of formatting for their stamp. Other than that, you can basically all these marketing flyers you get in your mail, they come through the USPS route. So if you know a certain area that is affected by certain event, you can send a bunch of mailers and blast the entire neighborhood officially using USPS, and it's pretty cheap to do that.
And how did that work out for you?
Well, it yielded one property, and even that one we ended up losing. So not a lot happened. So in this mailer game, I think we picked up 2-3 properties and pretty much broke even. In this business, if you make 5,000 on a property, that's breaking even, by the way. Okay. So we made, because that's considering your sweat equity, that's worth 5 grand.
Right.
If you're not making 20 grand per wholesale deal, you're not making money.
So in this process, by then we had started cold calling, and that's when we used to buy lists from Brent, from list source.
Oh,
that's when we both used to listen to. That's when we used to listen to Wholesaling Inc. and we came across Brent Daniels TTP program, and he was giving away code to download the list at 1 cent.
Yeah.
Wow.
From 17 cents. So back then, for the listeners here, right, we used to pay for cold calling plus 17 cents for an address and 35 cents to skip trace it.
Wow.
That's when our cost started. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And now everybody's in our SubTo group, we can see free list with free phone numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gave away 1 million record list on SubTo for free.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty amazing, isn't it? How generous people are. And yes, and that you can do that. Millie wants to know what part of Texas and how long have you been in SubTo?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think we are in Houston, Texas, and we were following Pace. Chai was following Pace before I did. He's the one who told me, hey, Pace Morby, has his free group and he talks about SubTos. And I started following the free SubTo group. And then he came up with a mentorship program. And, we applied within a first 2 weeks of his mentorship open. And I think back then it was not immediate. We got an email maybe after 3 to 4 weeks. Hey, now you can join. So I think it was second month of the program starting. I think it was 2020
Wow.
when we got into that group, and that has helped us like pick up our speed like two
Yeah.
times or three times that what we used to in the past.
Right. Right.
Not with all the network and with all the resources that we have in there and all the friends that we make, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And the education.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
And the education. Because I know that people that join right now are still blown away.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
I've only been in under 2 years, and I can say that it is huge. So, to me, to think that you guys started right from the beginning, I'm happy for you. I'm very, I'm almost jealous. Like, wow, that must have been so cool, because I know what it was like to join, 17, 18 months ago. To have started back then, it would have been even better.
But you know what? Like last year we met Pace, and he knew him.
Didn't
He
meet
knows.
him until last year.
No, we have met him before,
Oh, okay.
but he will tell you this story that we did nothing in the group. We were just part of the group, and we were still busy doing our regular business. We did make few friends in there, but we took SubTo very very seriously early. I think 2021 in that time. So for a year and a half, we were not very active, and I think we missed out a lot.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Well, Andrew wants to know how to connect with you guys and how many doors you have. I don't know the answer to that as
No,
far as the
Andrew can
door.
never connect with us. We can connect with everyone else except Andrew. Sorry.
Except what?
Andrew, I talk to him every day.
Oh, Andrew, you're funny.
And Andrew is the nicest guy in our
Yeah,
in our
Andrew is
SubTo community.
amazing.
Oh, he's funny. He fooled me, but he didn't fool you. All right. Well, there you go. This is their IG. For those of
Yes.
you who'd like to know that. And I'm going to watch out for Andrew now. He's a little sneak. Okay, Andrew, I
Just
gotcha.
help us with the question. So I'll answer Andrew's question. So Andrew asked how many doors we have.
Yep.
At this point, we have probably about little over 100 doors.
Single family houses. Yeah.
Single
Very
family
nice.
houses mostly, and we have a couple partnerships, strategic partnerships. Most of it is all in our partnership, me and Prakash, but we have other partnerships based on the cities we invest in, and yeah, Instagram or Facebook is probably the best way to connect with us.
Mhm.
Well, so, and yeah, we work with a lot of SubTo students right now. I mean, I would say 80% of our business comes from SubTo students or
how nice.
associated with SubTo.
Yeah,
What's-
we're buying most of our deals within the community. Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Now Pace can't be mad at you for not participating. But you guys had such a great series. Are you continuing the series? Because you stopped for a little while, right?
No, we do it every Saturday.
Every Saturday?
Yes.
Okay. All right, guys. So make sure that you jump on there because there's so much wealth of information for sure. And I had come for quite a while, and then I guess I stopped for some reason, probably just life. But it's good to know that you're still doing it because you guys share so openly and so much. I think that's fantastic. So
one quick point to add here. So when we started cold calling, and then we joined Brent Daniels' group. I mean that literally we did one of the biggest deals to my knowledge in America in wholesale. I haven't heard anybody else do it yet. We flipped an apartment complex, 200-unit apartment complex, and made probably $1 million in assignment fee. So
really?
That really put us on the map.
I'll bet.
Yeah, it was life changing.
Yeah, it
Yes, that's amazing. Was that the one that caused you guys to get into a documentary? Was it? I think was it Brent Daniels that did an interview with you guys
Yeah,
on it?
we did couple with him. The first one that was because of that specific deal. I remember that night I called Brent Daniels. Chai was also there on three-way. We're like, hey, we signed this deal, but now we don't know what to do. It's a crazy story. We literally put $90,000 non-refundable, everything that we had,
Yeah.
and we had to make it happen. We almost lost that money. It was over a year where this project went, and at the end, it was very rewarding.
Wow. Wow. That must have been a bit scary to
Oh
put that
yes.
much money in and for that amount of time. Because, I think we all feel those butterflies in our stomach when we think that maybe something will go wrong and we'll lose our funds, but lose that much and also for that length of time, yeah, that would be tough. Talk to us about what you are doing now, because I think of you guys as you know, the guys that do the raps and notes. And I don't know how many of our, listeners are aware. And if that is what you're doing at this moment, or are you doing something else?
So before we talk about notes or wraps, one quick thing I would like to remind like everyone in real estate, especially, is real estate has so much seasonality. Okay. You have to like once you're like getting in the game and turning it into a well-oiled machine, takes a little while, but as soon as it becomes a well-oiled machine, the season changes and you have to be ready for that. Okay. If you just have one foot on the throttle, you're gonna drive yourself into a ditch. Okay.
Okay.
Have to know how to turn, so you cannot just speed up and not like and think that this is never going to end. Okay, so everything has a life, or rather everything like gets saturated at one point and then popular at another point.
Hmm.
With what I mean, one way to say it is saturation is popularity, right? In a way. So things that get saturated because they were popular like few days ago.
Right.
So having said that, we like started our business with the mindset of holding and building portfolio as much as we can. And as we turned to real estate as a business, or rather turned to wholesaling as a business, we
Hmm.
started like gathering or building some cash reserves by selling some deals initially. So we were probably doing like 70% wholesale, 30% hold, to where we are now. We are probably 70 to 84% hold and 20% wholesale if we have to.
Interesting.
So in between, we just kept adding new strategies. Every time we see something taking off, we are ready and like enter and do some small experiments. And whenever the experiments are successful, we convert that into a strategy. So we come from this corporate background where there is a marketing department, there is sales, there is research and development, there is operations, and
Hmm.
there is execution. So we think of our business like that. Okay.
Gotcha.
And we are constantly researching, we are constantly looking for new things, and we are constantly experimenting while we are focusing on our current strategies.
Now,
While
when you say we, is it the two of you, or do you have a support team? Because you obviously are very high function.
yeah,
You have a support team?
yeah.
Tell us briefly how many people are involved in supporting you at this point. You've got 100 doors. You're trying to stay ahead by doing research and getting ready to pivot. That's what I'm hearing. You got to be flexible. What kind of a team does it take?
So we have property managers in Houston and San Antonio. We have our rehab crew in Houston, which is, we have a couple of teams. They don't work full time with us, but they work full time with us because we keep them busy.
Gotcha.
We have one person. She's in Pune. She handles all our notes that we owner finance, like maintaining the insurances, make sure all the payments are made on time. We have one accountant, like Chai's brother, who does our full time accounting.
Yep.
We have two in two full-time people in Philippines. One of them does our property management, and one of them does, our follow-ups, and if there are any seller leads that we are working on. We have an acquisitions person. He is in, where is Tori from? Chai.
I think Virginia.
I think, yeah, he's in Virginia.
Okay.
I've never met him. He's been working with us for 6 to 7 months.
Nice.
Yeah, it's always online on Zoom.
Good.
So we have, like, I would say it's 8 to 9 people who are full time focused,
Hmm.
and and the contracting folks who are, they work job to job basis, fixing
Right.
stuff.
Also have some strategic partners. We have one partner in Dallas Fort Worth area.
Mhm.
So actually, Scott Horn is our partner in Dallas Fort Worth area. So any
Wait,
properties,
did you say you're working with Scott Horn?
yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's
our.
our partner in Dallas. Yes.
Nice.
So any like properties that we buy together in that area go through Scott, and vice versa. Anything we buy in Houston in that partnership goes through us. So we have a
Awesome.
good symbiotic relationship, and we are working on some other new plans about title company and other things. We are still talking the things concrete yet, but we have a good team. That's what gives us time to focus on things, to research,
Mhm.
and we both like want to research something new, and we are both pursuing our own interests and bringing it to the team.
Got it.
So we work on a principle where none of us in the company are married to each other. Everybody has the freedom to go do whatever they want outside of this partnership or this company,
Mhm.
including our hires. But if we keep the environment interesting and keep everyone busy, everybody will have more and more incentive to just bring things to step up. Step up is the name of our company. So we haven't had like people go out and do other things yet. We try to support our people. We try to make sure everybody gets to do what they like. So that has been our focus so far,
Mhm.
but we are moving into a territory where we may have to maybe solidify roles and responsibilities now
Okay.
that we are working on so many things at a time. So we are still, like I said, like we pivot as we need. So far we haven't had to pivot in that regard. um, so yeah, that's how it is pretty
So,
much.
and then I think if we had one more question, what do we do now, right? So
Right.
I think a lot of people think that we only do raps because, we started doing that series last year on in SubTo, and that was the most popular thing. Everybody wanted to learn about raps, but
Yes. Although I think that they are harder than a lot of people think.
Oh,
they have gotten harder. Yes, everything is hard, right? Everything needs hustle, and to
Yep.
scale, doing one off is easy, but if you have to keep doing it, it takes time and effort.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I would say 30% is wrap, 50% is hold that we do. Our highest portfolio is still in buy and hold, and then 20% is flipping and wholesaling. So it changes depending on the market. Last year there were a lot of flips,
Hmm.
but as we all know, the interest climbed up.
Yeah.
So flips have slowed down. So we are focused more on buying and holding. So it keeps changing
yeah.
on what's the big, but we try to use every single exit strategy, and that's what we
Yep.
teach in our series, that guys, just don't look at one exit strategy. You should have a second exit in case the first one doesn't work.
Right. Of course. Of course.
There is a lot of value in being focused in your business and doing one thing properly, but there is also a lot of value in be staying flexible. Okay.
Yep.
And you have to find your own balance between the two. Like you can't always be flexible and you can't always be focused, otherwise you're going to lose out on something.
Right.
So I think we found that balance for ourselves.
All right. The two F's: focused and flexible.
Yep.
I like it.
I
I
like it.
like it a lot. Well, guys, I would like to say thank you very, very much. And I'm very happy that at least, thank you, Melissa, for coming and saying that we weren't live. I so apologize about this silliness. And please forgive me, but it is pretty cool to have had these gentlemen on. That won't happen again. Promise. But I'm very, very thankful for you guys coming on and sharing your knowledge. And we are now going to say goodbye, but please don't leave. I want you guys to stay on for 1 second. We're just going to play the exit, and then I want to talk with you for 1 minute. Okay? All right, guys. Sorry for the snafu, and we shall see you next week.